and we had a real problem down there. This is yours that I borrowed the other day to check them. Anyway,
Where are they sitting?
They're out there behind a little building. They've been there over 100 years.
Behind the storage building?
They're just laying there in the ground in the mud. But this is one of mine that my great-grandfather made. I had it so a doorstop and the wind broke it. But what happened was we're replacing the roof at Pearlbach. And we had one of those windstorms like last Sunday, and it took the chimneys off and blew the brick clear out next to the road and broke it and everything. And so the men who were working for Fry said, well, they found some brick out in the shed, and they put them back on because all of our electrical and heat and everything's in those chimneys. And in the midst of the project, we discovered we had to have larger gutters, and we got an extension on that and everything. And then when the architect came in to do the inspection, those guys weren't bricklayers. They weren't properly done. He said we couldn't use the newer brick. We had to find bricks that match. Well, these match. And we need about 50 of them. We've got the gutters done. We have flashing and roofs on the porticos, and we have to put chimney caps on those chimneys. Mike Condon's got a tarp over one of them right now to keep the water from going down. And so I need to get these as quickly as possible. Brad Miller's going to do the work as soon as we get one day to do it, and so they can finish it up. We're getting a little bit of money back from Culture and History, but we got to pay the whole bill, and the whole project's got to be complete before they give us anything. And I just wondered if there's any way the courthouse could give us some or sell them to us for $1. Value on them is what we found is about 75 cents a brick for good brick. And I did hear on the news the other night that somebody had stolen a whole bunch of bricks from the Shockoe Cemetery in Richmond, and he had enough to build a house, and they valued them at 75 cents when they...
Must have been awful valuable bricks because they're not normally worth near that much.
Well, it's a historic value on those at Shockoe,
yeah,
so you know, so it's but that's kind of where we're going with value. But we need these brick as quickly as possible. Sharon Kearns found about 10 over at the farm that weren't torn up that Granddad had made. But this is a photo I had. That's how I happened to come up here looking for them. This is the photo I had of him making the brick up there. He made the brick for the Bank of Maryland. Of course, those are long gone, the old bank. I guess they've been laying out there over 100 years, so, and there seems to be plenty of them.
And you're sure there's enough out here to do what you want to do?
I believe, just looking, just glancing at them the other day. I walked out there with Carrie, and we looked at them. And
well, I personally...
There's two kinds out there. There's kind of for both.
We ought to donate 50 bricks to Pearlbach.
We
if
sure
we had a
appreciate
bulldozer in there, that bricks would have never been there. If we ever get ready to build something, they're gone.
Right.
And they have no value as far as I'm concerned to the courthouse at all.
Where were these fired, Ruth?
Up here on top of the hill, on Hamilton Hills, where he had the...
He
put a kiln up there. See, that was before the railroad track come in. He had one down at the farm, but he built 3 or 4 things like that.
And where did the clay come from?
I suppose up here on the hill somewhere, because, at that time they didn't have any way to haul it except in wagons. But he also made tombstones.
I wouldn't think there'd be any clay on Hamilton Hill.
I don't know where he got the clay.
There is some up where I live, back there, along the hillside there below the cemetery, so they may have come from up in there.
Yeah, Mom just always said that.
Building on Hamilton Hill and digging around the back.
They probably dug it all up.
Maybe that's why there's none on Hamilton Hill.
See, this one is just a little bit darker if you look at it. Of course, I washed that one, but this is a little bit darker clay than what's down in Hillsborough. But the brick at under the Pearlbach house is exactly like this. And they match perfectly. And it supposedly comes from there on Jack Wilkinson's farm, but Shirley couldn't find any bricks there. So they're made the same way, and I think, the coloring is not going to, this is a little bit richer red. If it come off of my house, it was in purple clay. It's just bad. So, but
Do you have the resources to dig them up? I assume
they're not buried. They're just laying there.
They're
kind of mossy and dirty and all that, but they don't need dug up. I mean, I could actually lift them myself. But
so you need about 50 bricks?
About 50 is what the architect said.
What's the pleasure of the commission?
Well, if there's a value for these and people are looking for them,
I don't have a problem with donating these, but if we've got a bunch of them just hanging out behind the courthouse, we might need to move them inside the fenced-in area ourselves.
You probably, they're in the fenced area.
They are
The old ones
inside?
are in the fenced area. There are
Oh,
new
okay,
ones on
so
the
they are on
outside,
the
but they're the ones with the holes in them
Okay.
that are on the annex.
So they are inside the
Uh-huh.
fenced-in, so they're not easily obtainable without
No.
getting in, okay.
Not really.
I was a little,
Actually-
I thought it was behind
Actually,
the
we
storage.
reached through the fence to get this
Oh,
one, and
okay.
it's a broken one. The others look
Okay.
better.
Okay.
I just took the bad one just to
Okay.
compare colors.
Actually, there's really not that many of them out there.
No, maybe, there may be 75, 80, something like that. And these may not be that same value. I just heard that on the news, that that's what they,
I
when
don't
they find
have
the
a-
guy
Right, I
stealing
don't
the
have a
breakfast,
problem with
they
donating
did it.
50 of those.
Well, we certainly would
Would you-
appreciate it.
We'll put
We're
that in
giving
the form of a
away, do
motion.
we need to,